Imagine a time when Hollywood was a powder keg, before rules, before filters, when filmmakers let their wildest ideas run free. The result? Movies so daring, so fearless, they shook the world and left censors scrambling. These weren't just films. They were acts of rebellion that challenged society's boundaries and left audiences stunned. Here are 12 pre-code movies that broke every rule, stories so bold, so impossible to imagine today, that they've become legends. Buckle up, because these films are as raw and riveting as the era that made them. Babyface, 1933. If any film defines the scandal of pre-code Hollywood, it's Babyface. Barbara Stanwyck delivers an electric performance as Lily Powers, a woman born on the wrong side of the tracks and determined never to be trapped by circumstance again. The film opens with Lily working in her father's bar, forced to serve men who show her no respect. When tragedy strikes and she's left with nothing, Lily leaves for New York. Her only plan: use every ounce of her determination to claw her way out of poverty. What follows is a remarkable journey through the hierarchy of a major city bank. Each rung of the ladder Lily climbs is symbolized by a new office floor. And with each new relationship, she grows bolder, never apologizing for her ambition or for taking charge of her own life. Stanwyck plays Lily as complex, not cruel. Her drive is born from hardship, not malice. The movie's shock isn't just in its hints and innuendo, but in its refusal to pass judgment or deliver punishment at the end. Censors were infuriated. They forced reshoots, demanded edits, and threatened bans. But the core message remained: Lily is not a victim. Audiences responded with fascination and a fair bit of envy. Even today, Babyface stands out as a story of resilience and self-empowerment, daring to show a woman surviving by her own rules in a world stacked against her. It's this raw honesty and refusal to conform that continues to make the film controversial and unforgettable. The Divorcee, 1930. Long before divorce became a topic for talk shows and novels, The Divorcee exploded onto the screen with a story that was downright shocking for its time. Norma Shearer stars as Jerry Martin, a woman devastated by her husband's betrayal. Rather than retreating into despair, Jerry decides to start over, on her own terms. The film doesn't just ask whether a woman can forgive, it questions why she should have to. What set The Divorcee apart was its unflinching look at double standards. Jerry's decision to move forward with her life, instead of accepting her husband's indiscretions, was seen as a direct challenge to the morals of the day. Shearer's performance is subtle but fierce, capturing both heartbreak and newfound independence. The story doesn't punish Jerry for her choices. Instead, it follows her as she carves out a new identity, daring to find happiness in a society that expects her to remain quiet and loyal. Critics were divided. Some hailed the film as a much-needed breath of realism, while others feared it would encourage a wave of female rebellion. Censors pushed for edits and warnings, but audiences flocked to see Shearer's powerful portrayal. The film went on to win her an Academy Award and helped shift Hollywood's approach to women's stories. The Divorcee didn't just break taboos, it asked viewers to question their own assumptions about love, loyalty, and the right to choose a different path. Its honesty and courage remain rare, even by today's standards. The Public Enemy, 1931. James Cagney's breakthrough in The Public Enemy is still legendary for its unflinching portrayal of the rise and fall of a streetwise bootlegger. Set during Prohibition, the film follows Tom Powers as he climbs the criminal ladder, turning from mischievous kid to feared gangster. The violence is raw and unpolished, with shootouts, betrayals, and an infamous scene involving a grapefruit that's still discussed by film historians. But the film's real shock comes from its complexity. Tom isn't just a villain, he's a son, a friend, and at times a victim of circumstance. The movie's refusal to judge or moralize was unheard of. There are no simple lessons here, just the gritty reality of urban life and the temptations of easy money. Cagney's performance made Tom both terrifying and strangely sympathetic, leaving audiences to wrestle with their own reactions. Censors demanded heavy edits, worried the film glamorized criminal behavior. In several cities, it was outright banned. Yet for all the controversy, The Public Enemy became a massive hit, launching a wave of gangster films and cementing Cagney as a star. Its legacy is a reminder that sometimes the most powerful movies are the ones that don't pretend to have all the answers. They just show life as it is, for better or worse. Blonde Crazy, 1931. Few films capture the reckless thrill of the pre-code era like Blonde Crazy. James Cagney and Joan Blondell play partners in crime, literally, using charm and cunning to run scams on the wealthy and unsuspecting. The story's pacing is brisk, with a rapid-fire script packed full of double meanings and sharp wit that flew over censors' heads but landed with a wink for knowing audiences. What makes Blonde Crazy so shocking is the delight it takes in rule-breaking. Bert and Ann don't just swindle for survival, they relish the game, constantly outsmarting not just their marks but each other. Their partnership is built on mutual respect and genuine affection, with a playful chemistry that feels modern even today. Instead of being punished, their cleverness and adaptability are celebrated, a radical message in an era obsessed with morality tales. Censors objected to the film's blurring of right and wrong, pushing for changes that would never quite dull its edge. Audiences, meanwhile, couldn't get enough of the couple's antics and witty banter. Blonde Crazy became a blueprint for every crime comedy that followed, showing that sometimes the ones who break the rules have the most fun. In a time of hardship and uncertainty, the film's refusal to moralize and its joy in clever rebellion was both scandalous and deeply satisfying. Millie, 1931. Millie is a film that still packs an emotional punch, almost a century after its release. The story centers on Helen Twelvetrees as Millie, a woman who leaves her husband after discovering his unfaithfulness, only to find herself facing a new set of challenges as a single mother. Instead of pitying Millie, the film lets her fight for survival in a world determined to hold her back. What makes Millie so shocking isn't just its frank depiction of broken marriage, it's the way it explores the hardships and compromises faced by women outside of traditional roles. Millie's journey is filled with uncertainty. She moves through jobs, friendships, and a series of relationships, each choice shaped by her determination to provide for her daughter. The film doesn't condemn her, it empathizes, showing the real struggles behind closed doors. Censors bristled at the story's willingness to show women making hard choices, sometimes for reasons of necessity rather than romance. Audiences, however, responded to Millie's strength, making the film a surprise hit. Its refusal to paint life in black and white, its compassion for those forced to navigate a judgmental world, still feels revolutionary today. Millie proves that honesty and empathy can be more shocking than scandal. Call Her Savage, 1932. With Call Her Savage, Clara Bow delivers one of the most daring performances of the pre-code era. Playing NASA Springer, Bow storms across the screen with a mix of anger, vulnerability, and sheer energy. From the opening scenes, brawling in the Texas dust, fighting off the limitations of her upbringing, it's clear that NASA is a woman who refuses to be tamed. The film is a wild ride. There are party scenes, moments of heartbreak, and confrontations that escalate into all-out chaos. What sets Call Her Savage apart, though, is its willingness to follow NASA into situations that other movies would shy away from. She faces betrayal, discovers family secrets, and refuses to let society define her worth. Bow's portrayal is unapologetic and raw. NASA is never a caricature, but a complex figure fighting for her own happiness. Censors and critics tried to contain the film's energy, objecting to its depiction of vice and rebellion. The result was controversy, bans in some cities, heated debates in others. But audiences flocked to see Bow's return, and Call Her Savage became a symbol of the kind of fearless storytelling that could only exist in the pre-code era. Today, it stands as a reminder that real scandal isn't about breaking rules. It's about telling the truth, no matter the consequences. RedHeaded Woman, 1932. Jean Harlow's turn as Lil Andrews in RedHeaded Woman is as brash and unforgettable as any performance in movie history. Lil is a secretary with big ambitions, and nothing, not marriage, not reputation, not even the threat of scandal, can slow her down. With a knowing smile and a quick retort, Lil seduces her way up the social ladder, leaving a trail of chaos in her wake. The film delights in upending every expectation. Lil isn't punished for her schemes, she wins time and time again. The script is packed with sly jokes and sharp dialogue, making it clear that the filmmakers are in on the joke and inviting the audience to laugh along. Harlow's performance is playful but never cruel, turning Lil into a lovable anti-hero who breaks hearts and rules with equal flair. Censors were beside themselves, demanding cuts and warning theaters against showing such blatant defiance of social order. Some cities banned the film outright. Yet, RedHeaded Woman was a box office sensation, and its influence can be felt in every story of a rule-breaking heroine since. The film's enduring legacy? Sometimes being bad is simply more fun and far more memorable than following the rules. The Sign of the Cross, 1932. When Cecil B. DeMille released The Sign of the Cross, he wasn't just making a biblical epic. He was crafting one of Hollywood's most provocative spectacles. Set in Nero's Rome, the film is a wild mix of gladiator fights, palace intrigue, and lavish banquets. But what truly shocked audiences were the moments of pure excess. Claudette Colbert's legendary bath, wild parties, and scenes of decadence that left nothing to the imagination. Religious groups and censors immediately took aim, decrying the movie's blend of piety and extravagance. The film was slashed for its violence and immoral scenes, with warnings issued by the newly formed Catholic Legion of Decency. In some cities, it was banned outright. But for all the outrage, The Sign of the Cross was a massive success, drawing crowds eager for both spectacle and scandal. DeMille's willingness to push every boundary set a new standard for controversy and forced future filmmakers to think twice before courting the wrath of the censors. Today, the film is a time capsule of an era when Hollywood dared to put everything on the screen, trusting audiences to decide what was too much. Morocco, 1930. Morocco is best remembered for one iconic image: Marlene Dietrich, dressed in a tuxedo, singing in a smoky nightclub, and bending gender expectations with a single wink. But the film is much more than a single scene. It's a rich, daring love story that pushes every boundary of the time. Dietrich's character, Amy Jolly, arrives in Morocco to escape her past, only to fall for a mysterious soldier played by Gary Cooper. Their romance is anything but straightforward, marked by jealousy, sacrifice, and moments of unexpected tenderness. Dietrich's androgynous style, combined with the film's ambiguous attitude toward love and loyalty, made her a symbol of liberation for audiences who felt trapped by convention. Censors were confounded. The famous nightclub scene, where Amy kisses another woman on the lips, sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Yet the film never treats this as a joke or a scandal. Instead, it's presented with confidence and casual grace. For audiences then and now, Morocco stands as a bold declaration that love and identity don't always fit into neat boxes. It's this refusal to judge, and Dietrich's fearless performance that keep the film feeling as radical today as it did nearly a century ago. She Done Him Wrong, 1933. Mae West's first starring role in She Done Him Wrong is a masterclass in comic rebellion. West plays Lady Lou, a saloon singer with a quick tongue, a fearless attitude, and a knack for getting exactly what she wants. The movie is packed with West's trademark double meanings and witty comebacks, delivered with such timing that censors were often left unsure what to object to. What makes the film so memorable is Lou's unapologetic confidence. She doesn't shy away from her past or her ambitions. Instead, she owns them, outsmarting everyone who tries to pin her down. The story is a romp through the seedy side of the city, with Lou navigating crooks, lawmen, and rivals, always one step ahead. Censors demanded numerous edits and warned theaters to brace for complaints, but audiences couldn't get enough. She Done Him Wrong not only saved Paramount from bankruptcy, it made West a legend. Her mix of humor and daring paved the way for future stars, proving that sometimes the best way to break the rules is to laugh in their face. The film's spirit, bold, funny, and entirely original, remains as fresh today as it did in 1933. Scarface, 1932. No film shook up the early 1930s quite like Scarface. Paul Mooney stars as Tony Camonte, a small-time hood who claws his way to the top of the criminal underworld with a mix of charm, ruthlessness, and relentless ambition. The film's violence is unflinching: gun battles, double crosses, and a body count that stunned audiences. But it isn't just the action that shocks, it's the film's attitude. Tony is never presented as a monster, but as a man shaped by his environment and driven by hunger for power. The movie resists easy moralizing, showing the costs of ambition but never fully condemning its main character. Censors demanded massive changes, alternate endings, cuts to violent scenes, and warnings for viewers. In some places, it was banned for years. Yet Scarface was an undeniable success, influencing every gangster film that followed. Its refusal to offer easy answers, combined with its relentless pace and unflinching storytelling, make it a cornerstone of Hollywood history. Even today, Scarface feels dangerous, a reminder that some stories are meant to challenge, not comfort. Freaks, 1932. Few films have ever provoked as much shock and debate as Todd Browning's Freaks. Set in a traveling circus, the movie features real-life performers with physical differences, inviting audiences into a world few had ever seen. The story follows a beautiful trapeze artist who tries to manipulate and betray one of the circus's kindest members, only to find herself facing the unity and justice of the troupe. Freaks is unflinching in its portrayal of outsiders. It refuses to sugarcoat or pity its characters, instead presenting them as a close-knit community, capable of both kindness and vengeance. The film's climactic sequence, still unnerving today, shocked audiences so much that many theaters pulled it after just one screening. Censors banned the movie in multiple countries, and its reputation as a lost film grew for decades. But over time, Freaks gained a cult following as a work of empathy and defiance. Browning's vision was not to shock for its own sake, but to force viewers to confront their own prejudices and fears. Nearly a century later, Freaks stands as one of cinema's bravest and most haunting statements, a movie that could never, ever be made today. There you have it. 12 films that shattered Hollywood's limits and rewrote the rules of what was possible on screen. Each one stands as proof that the most daring stories aren't just shocking. They're honest, unfiltered, and alive with the spirit of their times. Which one would you brave today? Tell us in the comments, and if you're hungry for more forgotten Hollywood legends, hit like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes the wildest stories are the ones we almost lost forever.